The One Micronesia Podcast is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Hafa day, guys, and we're back with another episode of the One Micronesia Podcast. And in this episode, man, I am so stoked because I get to sit down with these two amazing fellas who have been heading such an amazing organization that has such an amazing goal behind what they're all about. So, ladies and gentlemen, on the podcast with me today, I have the one, the only Dr. Miguel Michael Bavacqua. Also with me on the podcast, I have Jonathan Guerrero. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and to just chit chat. Pretty much, the podcast is all about learning about the different amazing organizations that we have here in Micronesia that's pushing for greater things. And I think your organization is at the forefront when it comes to preserving our cultures and fighting for what the people really deserve. I think your organization is right at number one. So thank you, guys, for coming on.
Sidus Masi Vic, thank you for having us on. I'm excited to be a part of the KUAM podcast network for today.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. Glad to be here.
For those out there who might have heard about the organization, might have seen some of the events that you guys put together, some maybe haven't heard of the organization and stuff that you guys have done. Let's start there. Let's talk about Independent Guahan. When did it first start and stuff like that? Let's start there.
So Independent Guahan has been around formally since 2016. And so Independent Guahan is a community component of the Independence for Guam Task Force, which is part of the Commission on Decolonization. And so the Commission on Decolonization, for those that aren't familiar with it, it's tasked with sort of conducting educational campaigns around political status, helping people understand why we should become a state, independent, or freely associated. And so the work of Independent Guahan is that we promote the ideas of greater independence for Guam. And so Juan and I have been part of Independent Guahan since the very beginning.
Yeah, I think 2016 we came together as a group to really think through sort of our mission, right? And I thinking back to years ago, our group really wanted to kind of continue the work that our predecessors have fought for decolonization and self-determination for Guahan. And then also, we did want to focus on the Chamorro people here in Guam and the Marianas. And at the same time, we do see the value of those that call Guahan home, right? So I guess the quote unquote Guamanians, right? So we want to make sure that, that the voices of Chamorros are heard and centered, and at the same time, really considering and bringing into the mix, are those that are settling here, those that are calling Guam home, and how can we create a better future for ourselves and for our future?
Oh yeah, just Masiwan. I think it's important to remember that a lot of people out there may be afraid of the idea of independence, right, for Guam. But then we got to remember that there's more than 190 countries in the world that are independent today. Some of them are really big, more than 1 billion people. Some of them are small, a few thousand people. So there's nothing to be scared of about independence, right? It's just when we look at the world today, almost 100 other territories, colonies have gone on to become independent. What's the matter with us here in Guam? How come we get stuck as a territory when so many others have moved ahead? Even when we look to our brothers and sisters, around us in Micronesia, people in Palau, in the FSM and the Marshals sat at a table with the United States and said, we want this future. We want to freely associate with the United States. We want greater independence. But Guam still hasn't gotten that. And so we feel strongly that part of, that when Magellan came, when San Vitores came, when Guam got colonized, it didn't connect us to the world. It kind of took us out of the world, put us in somebody's pocket for a couple hundred years. And so decolonization is about putting us back in the world, allowing us to rejoin the world. And so, and it's, as Juan was mentioning, it's something which a lot of times Chamorros feel strongly about, but it's actually something that we can all, who love Guam, we can all join in. We can all push for something greater and better for the island, rather than just being a territory footnote of the United States.
All of Micronesia is with Guam with this. We want you guys to become independent and join the group in Micronesia and have our voice heard.
For the other islands in Micronesia, they can be allied with the United States. They can have deals, they can work with the United States, right? But then they also have that ability sometimes to say, you know what, we'd rather make a deal with this other country as well, right? But if you're a territory, you're just locked. You're locked into it. America's way, or we don't have a lot of highways on Guam, but America's way or the highway,
Right.
To use an imported figure of speech. And so, but one thing that I really love about the idea of independence, because it's not just about like the political independence itself, but I really want us on Guam to change the way we think. Because colonization came in, and like it did everywhere in the world, it said, you people are on top of you other people. Like in Africa, they said, you who are taller, you are the masters of those who are shorter. In the Americas, you who are lighter, you are better than those who are darker. And when the Spanish came in and the Americans came in, they set up these hierarchies. You who wear clothes, you're better than those who don't wear clothes. You who go to church with the ringing of the Catholic Church bells, you are better than those who don't. And now it's kind of like, you who have malls and movie theaters, you are better than those who live on islands, who live on atolls or smaller islands. And especially for Chamorros, we took in a lot of that. We accepted that made us better than others. And for me, what I love about these conversations around independence and decolonization is we got to get rid of that. It doesn't really help us. I mean, what we see, it doesn't help us. It doesn't get us anywhere. It's just playing the same old colonial game. Instead, I want us to think about a future in which Micronesia is more connected. And I include Guam in that, Micronesia is more connected, in which it's not just whoever can get to the States, but it's how can we work together to make this beautiful part of the world stronger.
I've always thought of it, and I've always had this strong idea that, in order for a greater and one Micronesia, the missing link has always been Guam. Guam has always been that missing link. We have Saipan, everybody is ready, but it was always that one link, which is Guam. And once everything, and I've hopefully pushed for independence, and once that's through, I think that's when we can achieve, because that's when our leaders can definitely come together without Uncle Sam overseeing everything, and one as a region can make really amazing policies that could help us in the long run. So like I said, I think Guam has always been the missing link that will really glue everybody together and create that one Micronesia we all want.
Yeah, no, I totally it's really just seeing how expansive and how the region could really support each other, and I do see how sort of colonization really disconnects, and coming from a region where islands are just connected, through our technologies of sailing or with the ocean. It's just really seeing that the strength of our region could really, as Guam gets support and more support behind its political aspirations, then really there's so much more that we could have as far as resources and support for our communities.
What were some of the most asked questions or concerns about moving forward with something like big like this?
A lot of the things that people have concerns about are legitimate. People say, if we become independent, would the military pack up and leave? Right? They feel, and some of them it's legitimate to be concerned, but when you think about it for a second, it's not necessarily like a real concern, right? People say we can't have aircon, or we can't have McDonald's if we become independent, right? And people say, how could we survive? And it's good for people to have those questions. And for Independent Guahan, we just want to help give them answers and help get them into a conversation about it, right? Because it's good to be worried about the future, and it's good to think about it. And then once you start thinking about it, independence makes more sense, right? Because would the U.S. military pack up and leave? They probably wouldn't. But one of the benefits if we were independent is that they would have to make some sort of treaty or deal with us on Guam, as opposed to the way it is now, where they kind of can do whatever they want and we can protest it. But we don't have a vote in Congress. We can't really do much to influence it. But if you were independent, you could still have a good relationship, and you would make a deal in which the military would say, we'll pay this much to use this area. We'll only do this type of training. If we want to do this, we have to ask permission. And you outline it. The United States has those types of agreements with dozens of countries around the world where it's got bases. All we would be doing is, as the young people say, we would be leveling up, right? It's not game over necessarily, but you're leveling up so that we have a stronger position for that.
All right, guys. When we come back, we're watching the One Micronesia Podcast. I'm here with the one, the only, Dr. Miguel, Michael Bavaco, and Jonathan Guerrero. We're talking about Independent Guahan, and we'll be back. When we do come back, we'll talk about a big event that's coming up this weekend. So stay locked. We'll be right back after this break.
It only gets better with more. Customize and save with the fastest internet speeds in the Marianas by adding mobile, phone, and TV to your bundle with Business Bundles Plus. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
For the different beats of your life, we're here to keep you connected the way you want it. Plans made for you, by you. Build your own bundle with Link. Select the internet, entertainment, mobile, and home phone plans that fit your lifestyle. Pay for what you want, not for what you don't. Build your own bundle and save with Link.
Hafide, and we're back with the podcast here. We're talking with Independent Guahan. Shout outs again to Dr. Michael Bavaco. He had to split, but I still have with me here to continue the talk. We do have Jonathan Guerrero. So we talked about Independent Guahan, the goals, the that's behind the whole organization. But now I want to talk about the amazing event, Volume 5 of Songs of Freedom. Let's talk about this new show that's coming up pretty much this weekend. So people are excited about the performances, excited about the messages, excited about the show. So for people who are to watch, what can they expect?
Yeah, thank you. So we're excited to put on the 5th show, the 5th year that Lot Songs of Freedom has come together, and expect, as always, we have local musicians, really excited about Independent Guahan and excited about decolonization and self-determination. And so we have Malak Motna coming out, Jonah Hanum, Rachel Estevez. They all came out and supported. Microchild will be there as well. And then we have some new young talent. Sinahi Beneventi is going to come out and be, debuting her first Natlala concert. And then we also have some metal in there too. So Spear will be there. And at our concerts, we also feature poets, and some of the names that we'll be highlighting would be Eddie Ekfaji, Megan Taitagui, Nicole Quintanilla, and then Clarissa Mendiola is she's a Chamorro from the diaspora, so she submitted some of her work. And then the another highlight or another poet that will be featured would be Julian Uggen, who just came out with one of his latest books, Properties of Perpetual Light. Right. So we're excited that we all came together and are really pushing forward with having another concert. I do want to highlight too that Tadung Marianas. So it was founded by a couple of young Chamorros, and they're actually doing some work throughout the Marianas Islands on the different artists that are featured in the Marianas. And so we partnered with them, Independent Guahan and Tadung Marianas, to really throw out this concert. So we're excited. July 4th, it's happening, and
wow. I mean, I think one of the things, the beauty about this is you're having both generations come together to not only just for an amazing event like this, but also like Dr. Bavakwa talked about Independent Guahan and the goals behind it. Now you're seeing both generation, the older generation and the new generation. You talk about new talent. we were fortunate to be a part of that whole recording, part of these performances. So I saw these performers come, and then you talked about Sinahi and her performance. I mean, seeing her so young but so passionate about the work that you guys are doing, I think it's definitely getting into people, and it's definitely going the right way. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to take another break, guys, and we'll be back to speak with Jonathan to find out what the organization, what Independent Guahan has in place for the next coming months, and pretty much for the rest of 2021. Find out what kind of events they got planned. So we'll be back after this break.
It only gets better with more. Customize and save with the fastest internet speeds in the Marianas by adding mobile, phone, and TV to your bundle with Business Bundles Plus. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
For the different beats of your life, we're here to keep you connected the way you want it. Plans made for you, by you. Build your own bundle with Link. Select the internet, entertainment, mobile, and home phone plans that fit your lifestyle. Pay for what you want, not for what you don't. Build your own bundle and save with Link.
Half a day, and we're back with the One Micronesia Podcast, and I'm still here with Jonathan Guerrero, all the way out in Alaska. He is a part of the amazing group Independent Guahan, who's doing so much, especially when it comes to pushing a message forward, a message that would benefit a lot of people, especially the people of Guam. So, Jonathan, let's talk about some of the events that you guys have in stores for 2021.
Yeah, 2021, we're really looking forward to coming back as a community in person, if possible. We have some mural projects lined up, and we, as mentioned, I think a year or 2 years ago, we put together the SETI mural lookout, and that was a great event. People came down and learned more about our organization, and also sort of about independence and self-determination for Guahan. So you can look forward to some mural projects coming up. And then also we have general assemblies. So every last Thursday of the month, we hold general assemblies featuring different community organizations and the work that is being done right now in our community in different topics or in different aspects. So yeah, each month we try to focus on a particular topic. So it runs about an hour and a half on the last Thursday of each month. And so the community could still look forward to those events being held. And then Haleta hikes. So we have a committee, it's called our Art Reach. So it's our artists and also our Art Reach committee combined. And they usually take out groups of people to clean up sacred sites around the island. And so as the pandemic sort of allows us to meet with others in person, that is something that, you know, the community could be looking forward to as we kind of get back to pre or post COVID-19. So yeah, we have a bunch of things lined up throughout the year. So yeah, you could find us sort of on Facebook and Instagram, Independent Guahan.
Jonathan, again, thank you. And guys, go follow them and join in those talks so that Jonathan was talking about, the monthly talks. I mean, you talk about different topics that really pertain to, you know, what Independent Guahan is all about. So that's amazing. John, we're going to take another break. We're back to close out the podcast.
It only gets better with more. Customize and save with the fastest internet speeds in the Marianas by adding mobile, phone, and TV to your bundle with Business Bundles Plus. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
For the different beats of your life, we're here to keep you connected the way you want it. Plans made for you, by you. Build your own bundle with Link. Select the internet, entertainment, mobile, and home phone plans that fit your lifestyle. Pay for what you want, not for what you don't. Build your own bundle and save with Link.
Off a day, and we are back at the One Micronesia Podcast, and we're still here with Jonathan Guerrero, a member of the organization Independent Guahan. So Jonathan, man, let's talk about it. Before I let you go, any messages to people who are watching right now, and maybe before the podcast they had all these questions about, you know, what Independent Guahan does and what the idea and the goal that you guys are pushing for. But now, halfway through the interview, that they've heard you and Dr. Miguel talk about these different ideas, now they're kind of enlightened. What message would you have for them?
I think would be, I guess a good message would be just the passion, you know, being passionate and sort of proud about who we are as Chamorros, as Micronesians here in Guahan. And I hope that our concert, at least that's coming out on July 4th on TV8 at 7 p.m., 7 to 9, could really highlight just how passionate our youth are in our culture and in looking at our future. And so, yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. I do want to say Danklu Nasazuas Masi to all of the contributors and performers that not just for this year, but for over the years have always continued to support our message and really have put in their work and their talents, you know, to highlight that, to highlight our culture and also our passion for a free future. So I just wanted to highlight that too.
Wow, amazing. So before I let you go, let the people know. I know you talked about a podcast. Where can they find that? Where can they find you guys on Facebook, social media? And then at last, one more time, where can people find or watch the amazing concert coming up this Sunday? Yeah,
so we have a number of outlets. So in the Instagram, Facebook, look for Independent Guahan. And then we also have a Fanatsu podcast that puts out weekly content. Take a look at that. And then, yes, July 4th, 7 to 9, tune in to Nat Lotlat Songs of Freedom, Volume 5. So hopefully you could sit down with the family and really enjoy our production.
Awesome. Jonathan, thank you so much. I know, like I said, the time difference, you're all the way out in Alaska, but we kind of made it work. Thank you so much for the time. And again, shout outs to Dr. Miguel Bavacqua, who jumped on the podcast earlier. Thank you so much for your time to both of you. And thank you to the organization that you guys represent. I think you guys are doing such a superb job in pushing for an idea, which is to, you know, free Guam and to unite Guam with the other Micronesian islands and become a One Micronesia. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us on your show. Much appreciated.
That pretty much wraps up another episode of the One Micronesia Podcast. We will see you guys at the next one. Peace.
The One Micronesia Podcast is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.